This is Life Transformation Radio. Prepare to engage. Seatbelt activated. Download initiated. Your quantum journey of transformation begins in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Life Transformation Radio. Hi, I'm Rob Actis, best-selling author of The Law of Action, voice actor, business mindset coach, the podcast whisperer, and Mr. Action himself. Life Transformation Radio is heard in over 90 countries. Thank you for joining us from all around the world. Whether it's your first time joining us or you've been listening to Life Transformation Radio for some time, I want to personally thank you. Here at Life Transformation Radio, we are committed to share more about real life, love, the power of positivity, romance, and of course, laughter. We care about helping others find their internal drive and purpose. We celebrate life's challenges and overcoming them. Please rate and review Life Transformation Radio on your favorite podcast platform. We so appreciate it. And listen to us live on Mondays and Wednesdays with a special bonus episode on Thursdays, recorded live on Clubhouse. Also, personal invitation from me to you. Please join us on Facebook in the Life Transformation Radio community. On the show, my guests are amazing people who are forces for good in the world around them and live a life of transformation. My guest today does just that. Today, Jennifer, Jerald, and I discuss transforming fear to focus. So if you want to have the power of perseverance, the power of choice, and learn how to do the work to transform your fear to focus, this is the show for you. Jennifer Jerald is the keynote speaker, transformational coach, 3 times published author. Her fear to focus specialist, she specializes in primarily with women. Having walked through the fires of fear throughout her life, she learned to harness it and transform it into focus for ultimate success. As a survivor turned thriver, she now walks the fiery path with others to help them rise from victim to warrior. Jennifer, welcome to Life Transformation Radio.
Thank you so much for having me, Rob. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Oh, great. How are you today? You doing good?
I'm doing so good. I think I've heard many years, if I was doing any better, there'd be 2 of me. But today I'm so good, there might be 3.
I love it. Well, you've had a lot of transformation in your life, and one that's the closest, and actually I can relate to, I had a day spa that was open and closed during COVID, and it just didn't make it. We just unable. And I know that you ran a successful nail salon for the past 15 years, and you actually were an unofficial life coach with hundreds of clients throughout your career. And then, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to say, that during COVID-19, your salon was closed. And you decided, instead of like, woe is me, and just being stuck in the morass of life, you thrived. So tell me about that.
Oh, it didn't happen immediately, Rob. It was a challenge at first. And I spun out and I was so sad. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with myself? What am I going to do with my life? Who am I? What am I going to be? And then I remembered I had just 4 days before the world shut down on March 17th last year, my book had just hit the shelves. And it's called Dare to Heal, Thriving with BPD, which is a mental illness diagnosis called borderline personality disorder. And I remembered, wait a second, you just wrote this book about getting up out of the trenches of emotional overwhelm. You might want to check in with yourself. So I had a little.
And the universe is going to say, guess what? Yeah, the universe is like, okay, we're going to make this really clear that you need to change your path.
Absolutely. So I dug into my book, I dug into my toolbox, and I got busy. And I started attending online virtual summits and realized this was an opportunity to transform and to pivot, to change the complete trajectory of my life and my family's life, and ultimately the lives of so many others that would follow. And I'm so excited to be able to have done that. So for the past year, I just dug my heels in and went through class after class after class and training to make it official. Like you said, it'd been unofficial for many years. Your listeners will probably know the hair lady and the nail lady know more than the therapist.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I bet. I go there with my wife to get manis and petties, and I hear these conversations, and it's funny because I'm surrounded by all these women, and I'm like the only guy there, and they're used to just free-flowing their conversations, and then after a while they just realize that I could care less what they're saying, and then they talk about stuff. But I can only imagine the conversations that go on in a nail salon, like really.
Oh my goodness, it's crazy, and it's a lot of drama too. And I didn't realize how much drama until I had been, 10 times removed from it, having the salon closed and not having all of that coming at me every day. But I also realized the power of transformation and positivity that I had been able to offer to my clients for all of those years. And that's what really, really drove me when I thought about the success stories that came out of the nail salon, besides just a perfect smile line and one-of-a-kind hand-painted nail art. The transformations that happened in my clients really were driving forces for where I am and who I am today.
So the amount of money they were saving from not having to go to therapy and getting their nails done was definitely a win for them and a win for you, because now you have acquired this skill set and it's been proven on how to assist people to thrive from upset in their life.
Yes, definitely. And I even had one gal say her mom told her to quit getting her nails done. She said, "Mom, I can't get my nails. I can't stop going to her. She's the best therapist I've ever had." And for disclaimer purposes, I'm not a therapist. I am just a coach, but just a coach who absolutely just loves her people and to see their progress. It's so rewarding. I love it.
I love that. Well, you're a self-taught musician and comedian, and I would hope that you've used some of that comic relief to get through all of this, whatever this is.
Oh, yes. I go into monologues at home, and my daughter will say, "Mom, you need a permanent camera rolling all the time. You have so much TikTok information."
Oh, no. Oh, my God. That's wild. So you survived. You thrived. You're one of 11 children, and you have 2 of your own, and you have a young one and an older one. And also you adopted a son, and that's kind of cool. And, you just keep living your life. That's the coolest thing. You don't let fear stop you, and you just keep going. And I think that's so inspirational. That's the perfect guest to have on Life Transformation Radio, because there are incredible things that happen in our lives that are good and that are bad. And how we react to the good and the bad is how we continue on with our life.
Perseverance has been critical. There was a time I didn't want to continue. There was a time 6 years ago I locked myself in a hot car to end it all. And I didn't get that opportunity, thank goodness. So when I opened my eyes, 2.5 hours later, I thought it was only going to take 20 minutes. The day would be done and my life would be over and all the pain would stop and I wouldn't have to keep fighting. And then I had a moment where I was like, whoa, hold on a second. I'm still here. I have a choice to make. And I had to make a decision right away. And that was sit back, close my eyes and wait to die, or open the door, get out and learn to live. And so in that moment, I decided it was time to start living, not just getting through the day, not just muddling through the mundane, not just surviving minute to minute, but really learning how to live. And in that moment, persistence took over and perseverance became my captain.
Well, I love that you're so willing to share that. Suicide, very near and dear to me, unfortunately. I had a few friends over COVID attempt suicide. One actually accomplished it. And it's very devastating. And to come back from attempting to take your life is really remarkable. And it's very inspiring to those that are in that position to know that you can actually, because what happens is a lot of people that are about to take their lives, they just feel like they just have to. And there's a lot of options.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm working with my friend Stacy is she has a podcast coming out called Suicidal Thoughts. And it's all about normalizing the conversation of suicide. Because if you can speak about it as a normal thing, because it's rampant right now during this COVID pandemic, it will save a lot of lives. If people are thinking of taking their lives and they're so ashamed and they can't go to anyone or anywhere for help and they don't know what to do, that's not a good thing. So having the conversation in a normal way of that it's something that happens. People become suicidal and they don't need to take their lives. There's a lot of help and there's a lot of impact that they need to be aware of, because there are survivors of suicide and not just someone who has tried to take their life, but have healing to do. From my friend that I talked to him on a Friday, and we were going to go be at a conference. This was right before COVID hit, and he took his life right after I talked to him. And it's important to have this conversation. So I want to thank you for being vulnerable in that way.
Absolutely. And the reality is, which I learned quickly, just like what you're facing right now, where you said, I still have healing to do. It's a temporary fix. It only fixes what you think in the moment that you decide to do it. What people don't realize, what I didn't realize, is the ripple effect that's left behind. And I'm so thankful that I didn't leave that ripple effect, but I too have felt the pain of that ripple effect from somebody who followed through and completed their desire to end it all. And so I do speak about it because I do know that it's powerful. I know it's real, and it isn't something that we need to sweep under the rug and pretend isn't there. It's there. And the more we talk about it, the more lives we'll save. And so I'm grateful to be able to be vulnerable and to be open about it and to be able to share the power of choosing to live versus choosing to die.
The opposite. Well, so you mentioned BPD, which is borderline personality disorder. And so were you diagnosed right there in 2015 when you were trying to take your life? Is that when you got the diagnosis?
Yes, that was when I got my diagnosis. And at that time, I was going through my divorce. And I was in a really dark space. I didn't know what was wrong. I'd been suffering with this emotional upheaval my entire life, and in and out of therapy and in and out of doctors and in and on and off medications, and nothing was working. And then I finally decided to ask my counselor. I said, is there a test to find out what's wrong with me? Because nothing's working. And she said, well, there is. Let's figure this out. And I thought maybe I was bipolar. And she said, well, good news, you're not bipolar. And I go, oh, there's a but. She said, but you do have borderline personality disorder. The good
thing is that now you know. So, it wasn't just, oh, I can't handle all these stresses. What it was your brain saying that these stresses are so large and huge and overwhelming that I can't handle it. But so is it safe to say that was diagnosed and then the power of medicine was able to make some chemical adjustments and then wow, things are looking different for you?
Actually, no, because borderline personality disorder, although it can come with some chemical imbalances, in and of itself, borderline personality disorder is not a chemical imbalance. It is actually a mental conditioning that results from extensive amounts of trauma, abuse, neglect, emotional overwhelm. And so what it is a inability to regulate emotion. And so you just spin out, and risky behaviors start to happen for a lot of people. Sometimes it's drugs and alcohol. Sometimes it's seeking physical attention in the undressed kind of way. I'm not sure who our listeners are today.
Okay, we'll put that as explicit. That's fine. Yeah. Random sex, I guess. Would that be the safe way to put it?
Yeah,
I guess? Yeah.
Random sex, high-risk behaviors, drugs, alcohol,
high-risk behavior,
shoplifting, stealing, things like that. And it's a way to act out against the emotions that you're struggling to regulate. And so it can be treated with medication. I was on a plethora of medication when I started my therapy program. 4 months into the program, I was completely off of all of my medications, and I'm still medication free because I did the work and learned how to regulate my emotions and take care of that emotional overwhelm. And that is my mission now, to help other people.
Is there a home invasion going on right now? Is a dog barking at someone?
Oh my gosh, I was hoping that wouldn't happen. But yes, my daughter just got home from school.
Okay. That's okay. It's the fun of live. But so congratulations on doing that. One of the things that I do know about BPD is that with that high risk behavior, you're actually trying to increase. So you said it's not a chemical imbalance. However, one of the ways that the high risk behavior is that you're trying to get a rush in a way. You're trying to get a reaction to your brain, and it's pushing you in different directions.
Correct. And it shorts you out, really. You're looking for that high. You're looking for that release of the emotion that you're feeling and that you're going through in that moment. And then I am so sorry about my dogs. Oh my gosh.
You're fine. It's okay. It's okay. So one of the things is that I see. So I think back to when I was a loss prevention officer many, many years ago in a department store. And I used to arrest these women. It was a high-end, it was like a Macy's, Nordstrom. It was called Bullock's. And if you're from California, you know that. But you'd know what Bullock's is. And so I arrested some very wealthy women that were so put together and so beautiful and dressed to the nines, the makeup, the jewelry, the hair. And I would catch them stealing, and I never could understand why they did it. I wonder if many of them had BPD, because why'd you do it? Oh, I just wanted the thrill of just, like why? Because I wanted to see if I could get away with it. I'm like, wow, that's amazing.
It's the rush. It's the rush of, ooh, I can do this, and I feel excited and I feel alive. Because when we're stuck in an emotional spiral, we feel kind of dead and out of control. And so there's that rush of, ooh, I get control this. I can go and shoplift that, or I can go pick this guy up off the street and go home with him, or I can share needles with somebody on a street corner because it's my choice and I'm in control, when really it's a false sense of control, and you're getting a false high, which ends up with a myriad of fallout after the fact, like getting arrested.
Right. Wow. Well, I just want to acknowledge you and congratulate you that you did the work. And I think it's important for personal development to understand when you see someone that has had challenges in their life and they're thriving, there's a reason, because they've done the work. It doesn't just happen. Life is simple. It's not always easy. But there are steps that you can take in your life to make your life more pleasurable. And one is to live in the present moment. And the other is to really practice mindfulness and meditation and to do the work.
Absolutely. Are you reading my book?
Because as humans, we are some complicated people. As humans, we are quite complicated.
We are complicated. And sadly, we complicate ourselves more than we need to. We create problems that don't really exist. But you're right, that mindfulness is absolutely key. In the program that I took after my diagnosis, we learned so many different emotional regulation tools and skills. But in between, the very beginning and in between every new chapter, we always went back to mindfulness, learning how to meditate, learning how to set your mind in motion for success versus in motion for spinning out of control. And that was critical. So learning how to implement that has been a major transformation tool in my life. And I just love it.
That's awesome. Well, one of the things to have success in life is to really pay attention to the people in your life and who you're surrounded by. And you recently married the man of your dreams, and he has been very supportive, considered the driving force to supporting you in doing what you're doing.
Oh, yes. He is amazing. He always gets fussy when I talk about him, but I said, too bad. So he and I met when I was just barely into my program, and we became the best of friends, and he just appreciated watching the transformation in front of his eyes. And last year he made me his wife and has encouraged everything that I'm doing, and just smiles and sits back in the background and says, "You got this, baby." So he is my dream. He is a dream supporter, and he is my rock, and I just love him to pieces.
I love that. So let's go back to COVID time, and your business closed, and you had to dig in and make that transformation from nail salon owner to now you're a best-selling author, and you're a coach, and you're a speaker. So let's talk about that. How did you do it?
One step at a time, one day at a time, and a lot of days, one tear at a time. And I always say plants can't grow without water, and neither can a soul. So it's okay to cry sometimes, to get it all out and let it all out, and just to continue to push forward, to live forward. So it started with an online summit. It was 2 weekends. I sat in my office. I have a full notebook full of quotes and thoughts and ideas. And the first speaker that I heard was Dan Clark, who is a phenomenal keynote speaker. And he said that COVID wasn't a crisis, that it was a pause, and that we had the opportunity to pause and to purge. I was like, what? So he said, pause, purge, elevate, eliminate. And I was like, well, that's the ultimate PPE right there. Purge, evaluate, and eliminate. And the very next speaker said, COVID is not a crisis. It's a pause in momentum. Joseph McClendon III said that every single one of us in that moment had an opportunity to ask ourselves one of two questions. 1 year from now, will I say, I'm so glad I did blank, or will I say, oh my gosh, I wish I would have done blank?
Yeah, you don't want to live a life of regret. You don't. You just, as the author of the book, The Law of Action, it's all about breaking through your fear and living a life of inspired action. And you don't want to live with regret. I've had some near-death experiences, and I live every day that way because I don't want to live with regret. It's the worst feeling when you think you're going to die and you're like, oh, man, I should have lived my life differently.
Yes, absolutely. I want to die with empty pockets. Empty pockets because they're not filled with regret, and empty pockets because I have delivered as much love as possible in the world. So I want to die with empty pockets. No regrets and no love left because I gave it all I had.
Mic drop. Like, look at that. Mic drop. What do you say about that? So, all right. So we have something in common, and a few things. We have a lot in common. But you have hair. I don't have hair, but that's one thing. So you have a podcast. It's called Dare to Heal.
Dare to Heal by Living Forward.
I love it. So you're a healing strategist. So tell me about that. A healing strategist. I've never heard of that before. So I was very curious as to what a healing strategist is.
Well, a healing strategist, as a coach that I am, No, the healing strategist is a person who's going to sit with you and create a path with you based on your own intentions to create a strategy for you to take your healing into your own hands. There are times when we need a physician. There are times when we need medication for an infection or we need a medical procedure. But when it comes to personal growth and development, with the help of somebody who's been there, you can take your healing into your own hands. And being able to create a strategy to do that is really, really what saved my life. It's what prompted the writing of my book. It's what prompted the acronym of the word HEAL on the cover of the book. That became my strategy for healing. And so now I love to be able to sit down with other people and help them strategize their own healing so that they feel like they have control over their own life. We were meant to live our best life.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. What is Jennifer's why? Like, why? What is your why? What gets you up every single day?
My why is the pain in the world, especially in women. My why is because too many women suffer in silence because they are afraid to speak up. They're afraid to say that they're hurting. They're afraid to say that they're scared to take that next step. I've lived in that cage of fear, and my why is to unlock that cage so that we can fly free. My logo is a rising phoenix because that's what I am. Every day I live, I die, I rise. And my why is to help others to do the same thing, to know they don't have to suffer in silence. Tragedy will happen. Pain will come. Suffering and staying stuck is optional. So if I can share that message with one more person every day, that's the why I get out of it.
I love that. I think that's really beautiful. Okay. 5 years from now, what does Jennifer's life look like?
I'm going to go big. 5 years from now.
You better go big.
5 years from now, my daughter will be really close to graduating from high school as a powerful motivator herself. She's an incredible young lady going into junior high next year. And she is also a big part of my why, to teach her how to be a confident, independent, strong, motivating, inspiring woman. But 5 years from now, she'll be graduating from high school, living her path towards her dreams to being a medical scientist. She wants to find a cure for cancer.
Nice.
So that's pretty big. And my dream is to reach 1 million people with the message of hope through the spoken and musical word. 5 years from now, I will have met the hearts of at least 1 million people.
Love that.
And I will be living free. Yes.
Are you playing an instrument or are you singing?
I do both.
Oh, all right, Jennifer. So come on. Both. The mic's yours. I want to hear a song. Come on. Let's hear something.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't have an instrument queued up at the moment, but I can
acapella, baby. Acapella.
Yeah. You betcha. This is my brand new song. It isn't quite released yet, but I'm going to share it with your listeners because it's so much fun. And it's called No Tomorrow. No Tomorrow. And that's
give us a little taste.
K-N-O-W with the N-O underlined. So here we go. Sitting on the edge of my bed, eyes barely open, it's morning again. Coffee is brewing, things to start doing. I can't believe it's morning again. Thank God for another day to start over and pick up where I left off yesterday. And for the chance to discover how wonderful it is to have another day. and live like there's no tomorrow.
There you go. Did you hear the crowd go wild?
There you go.
Going wild again. All right,
I can't help
Woo-hoo.
but smile. Woo-hoo!
Oh, man, it was great. So, first of all, I love that you're fearless and that you went for it. And not only did you went for it, but it was fast. Like when you were committed, you decided, you planned, and you took massive inspired action. There was like no delay, which was great because a lot of people will just like 5 seconds, 3 seconds. You just belted it out, no hesitation. Look at you, breaking through your fear. That's wonderful. Like, just love it. And that was not planned. I just decided to put Jennifer on the spot because it's fun.
It is fun. I love the challenge. And the lights come on inside of me when the music comes out. The lights come on, and it's such a joy. So thank you for that impromptu on the spot solo.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing that I heard is it sounded kind of had a country twang to it. Was it kind of country?
It's a little country.
Kind of a country sound. There you go.
Country.
All right. It's a little bit country and just a little bit of rock and roll.
A little bit. Yeah, I do a little bit of everything. My genres are, they're as versatile as I am. But that particular one is definitely a little bit of country, a little bit of rock. And I love what comes right after that where it says, live like there's no tomorrow. It says, for yesterday is gone, tomorrow isn't promised. Today is the gift we borrowed. So live like there's no tomorrow.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Jennifer, what a gift to be here. Thank you so much, really, for being here and for being bold and sharing your story of transformation and even a song. Very, very cool.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And you have a gift for our listeners. What exactly do you have?
Well, as the Fear to Focus specialist, I have prepared a downloadable PDF booklet that they can download and do at their own pace. It walks them through what fear is, what fear isn't, and the 5-step focus process on how to transform that fear or that resistance that they're feeling to harness it into focus. So it'll walk them through how to do the steps, and then they get their very own practice page. So that is my gift to your listeners.
And just go to JenniferJerald.com. You can reach her where I met her, on Clubhouse at Jennifer Jerald, and also Facebook, facebook.com/Jennifer Jerald Strategies, and on Instagram at Jennifer M. Jerald. How's that?
That's perfect. You did great. So,
thank you. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here.
You betcha. Thank you so much. And if they have any questions, they can reach out to me at any one of those platforms, and I am here to serve.
What a beautiful soul you are. Thank you, Jennifer, for being here today. And thank you so much for your support and taking the time out of your busy and precious day to listen to Life Transformation Radio. We so appreciate it. Thank you for allowing me, along with my very special guest, Jennifer Jerald, to touch your heart, move your soul, and inspire you to live a life of transformation. I'm Rob Actis. Until next time.
This is Life Transformation Radio. Download complete.